Hello, I'm Elina Garrison. I work with Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. I mainly do white-tailed deer research, and I'm here to answer some of the questions you all had about white-tailed deer. So the first question is, how does CWD affect deer in Florida? CWD, or chronic wasting disease, it's a contagious neurological disease of cervix, affects all members of the deer family, and it's always fatal. It's found in 26 states and 3 Canadian provinces, but it has not been detected in Florida. However, it is a known risk, and so FWC is doing several things to reduce this risk. Some of the key things are prevention, doing all we can to prevent CWD from entering our state in the first place, preparation if CWD were to be detected, and monitoring, testing both sick and hunter-harvested deer for CWD every year. In terms of prevention, we have regulations that prohibit people from bringing in live cervix, this is typically with captive cervix, into the state. And we also have regulations that prohibit hunters that hunt out of state to bring those carcasses back into the state. Again, those are 2 big risk factors for CWD to entering the state, so that's why those regulations are in place. The monitoring program, testing for CWD, has been in place since 2002, and FWC has tested close to 13,000 deer since then. And as far as preparation, we have plans that guide both the monitoring and guide of actions if CWD were to be detected. But again, I'm glad to say that it has not been. Okay, so the next question is, why do Florida deer appear smaller than other states? Deer in Florida are smaller, especially if we think of the little key deer, which is its own subspecies of white-tailed deer. And key deer are the smallest deer in the United States. There's only actually one other deer species in the world that's smaller. They average less than 80 pounds for adult males and less than 65 for females, which is quite a bit smaller than the rest of our deer. And in general, deer in Florida follow what's called the Berkman's rule, which has to do with adaptation to local conditions. Larger deer, like the ones we found in northern climates, are well adapted to the cold, and they have lower surface to volume ratio, which basically all it means is that they radiate less heat than do our smaller deer, which allows them to cool off quicker in the hot, humid summers. And also, not just the temperature, but resources, both availability and quality, make a difference too. In Florida, we have quite a bit of quantity of forage for deer, and it's available year-round, but the quality is not as great due to our nutritionally poor soils. So the smaller body size is beneficial from that perspective as well. Although with proper nutrition and age, box weighing or adult males weighing well over 150 are not that uncommon in Florida, so they're not tiny. All right, the next question. What species of deer live in Florida? The only native species that we have in Florida is the white-tailed deer. And as I mentioned, key deer are a separate subspecies. Their range is limited mainly to the big pine key of the lower keys. We do have 2 other subspecies, but they're very similar, and we don't really consider them as different deer. And their range covers all of rest of Florida except maybe perhaps the most urban areas. We do have some captive facilities in the state with exotic deer species, and on St. Vincent Island in the Panhandle, we do have an introduced free-ranging population of sandbar deer that are native to South Asia. Okay, so the last question. When are baby deer born in Florida? This would be an easy answer if we lived in the northern states. The timing of baby deer or fawns is highly synchronized to the climate. So in northern climates, births are synchronized so that they occur in the spring, but early enough in the spring that gives the fawns enough time to be prepare for the next winter. So the weather has to favor the survival of the young, and also there has to be a lot of food available for the doe that's lactating and nursing the fawn. So, but in Florida, our winters are quite a bit less harsh, and our growing season is long. So the timing of when fawns are born is a lot less critical. And what we have found through our research, looking at this throughout the state, that Florida has the widest range of breeding or rut and therefore fawning than any other state in the country. Our fawning season ranges from February in South Florida to September in the Western Panhandle and everything really in between. An important reminder is that if you are lucky enough to come across a little fawn, especially little spotted fawn laying motionless somewhere, leave it alone. It is not likely to be orphaned. The mother is most likely somewhere very close by feeding. It's an adaptation that deer have to prevent predation on the fawns. So the mother leaves, goes off and feeds and comes back and takes care of the fawn, nurses it. But the spotted patterns camouflages the fawn, and when they lay motionless, it's very difficult for predators to find them. So if you'd like to learn more about deer in Florida, please visit our website. There's everything about, including our research, more information about the breeding chronology I mentioned, how wide it is, or you can learn more, of course, about hunting opportunities and regulations. Thank you.